Hey everybody, thanks so much for your support of Indie Agency News. We're going to be doing, we're going to be digging into the work. We like the work. This is indie work. And here's the thing that I wish to impart upon all of you, especially our members. The most important thing about talking about the work is it doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter if it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, a month ago. Work is work is work. And it's really important for us to dig into it. And so that's just a reminder. Like, yeah, I get it. You got new stuff coming up. You got to pitch it as well. You should. We're here to help you with that. 15-minute consulting sprints for all of our members. However, I do again wish to impart. I said that word again, impart, that it is important for us to look back so that we can look forward. And today we're bringing in Jessica, co-founder and CEO, Yellow House. Now, we first met at our show off we met in person at our show off in New York. And what was really fascinating to me is I've seen a lot of your more current work, for lack of a better term. And then you go into this story about, we're really responsible for getting this old house cooking in a lot of ways. And that's one of those things you almost did it like offhandedly. That's the part that I went, wait, what? So I want you to give us a little bit of backstory, and then we're going to go through on the site a little bit more about the background and some of the execution. But I want you to tell the story of how this whole thing even started, because we were all just sitting there going, tell us more. So dig in and tell us what's what.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for the great intro. I also have availed myself of that 15-minute sprint that you talked about, and it was very helpful. So cool. I must evangelize that as well. But Yellow House is my agency, and it started as just me in my Yellow House. I'm a former journalist, and I wanted to make a change. So I started taking on clients. And one thing led to another. I started managing the social media of Kevin O'Connor. It's the host of This Old House. And realized this is an amazing brand that at the same time, really, people were not engaging with it on social in the way that they are today. They hadn't cracked, more than a couple thousand followers, really weren't posting regularly. And Kevin was like basically auditioning me, but I hadn't realized that,
Oh, funny.
And so about a year after I started like managing the Instagram for Kevin, because back then we were sort of like social media butlers,
right.
like the equivalent of like a well-run diner or like a really award-winning restaurant. Like we take the order, we make the dish, and it's about like precise execution. Oops, sorry.
No, that's so good. Oh my God. What? Oh, did I lose you?
Let me turn. Did I lose you? I have to turn.
No, you were fine.
Okay.
Here, so, I'll get you back in.
I'm so sorry. Okay.
No, that's okay. It's all right. I got a punch point. All right. I'm going to stop you there for a second, because the butler thing. I only say this because like if you go through my probably way too long LinkedIn profile, you'll see that back in 2010 I was an OG social marketer for Advertising Week, the B2B event.
Yeah.
And so when you say butler, that just cracked me up, because there's a lot to that. But from being a butler to then finding personality and finding an opportunity, and candidly, like, this is such a beloved, and it has been beloved from the very beginning. So let's go from talk a little bit more about that butler stage and then the evolution of all of this.
Right. Well, it started off the way that a lot of social media jobs did back then, which is, I'm going to hire some guy or in my case, some woman, right,
Right.
to come in and help me just be the social media butler and take the order, execute with precision, and do the thing beautifully, right? And like no round three revisions, right? When you're a butler, you got to get it done first round, and but make sure everything is built for immediate consumption. So at this point, I was growing my agency, had about 3 full-time people besides myself, and similar to the way we do it now, I would come in and start the strategy for the largest clients and the most important clients. And so I did that with Kevin in hopes that we would kind of, become the driver of the big bus, so to speak.
Right.
And he was really testing us, and taking us for a whirl. And one of the things that is sort of not known, as I think, as much about Kevin O'Connor, is he is like a shrewd business person and a marketing mind. Like he gets it. So he was like, we're not just going to put out a brief and put out an RFP. We're going to audition somebody for reals,
Right.
And that's what he did with us for a little over a year. We eventually realized that we had a lot to bring to the table in terms of kind of taking over social media management for this old house. And, we were handed this brief that was really simple on the surface. Basically, like, make us modernize us, like help us be relevant on social. Like, that was the brief,
Right.
And so what we realized was, so we I know a lot of agencies say this, but like we really live it. We get to know all of the players. We embed ourselves, and this comes from my background as a journalist.
Right.
Like when there were embeds, like I was on, like back in the day, 2007, the Iowa caucus buses. Like I was embedded with these campaigns. Yes, wow. I know.
Okay.
And so it was like, I see the value in that, and how, getting to know, like really getting to know what makes everybody tick, and what's everybody's sort of like secret passion, and and then you take that, you build those relationships, and then you're able to get the orders out even more precise, because you know what everybody's tastes and likes are. So the first round, really feels final. And that's sort of how we built our relationship with this old house, which is ongoing today.
Yeah.
So we've now been with them for 6 years.
6 years, it's like a lifetime sometimes in our world, I guess. I'm just looking at this, and I mean, here's like a strategic, like super smart. Like, take a look at the DIY. So look at Jen over here, and Pinterest and Instagram. That's such a, like, that's just so dead on perfect. Like, that's exactly where she should be.
So, market channel fit was a huge part of it.
Right.
But then also just really empowering all of these extremely talented makers and artisans as social media creators. There's honestly no reason that I need to be the middleman unless it helps them, right?
Right.
So, we operate like that without ego. It's like the brief is, let's modernize. Well, we're going to do what it takes to get you there, and really just prioritize that over everything else, over retainers. And there's no chaos that way. You're just getting orders out on time, service and on brief. And like the first round feels final. So that's sort of how we operated with this old house. And they went from having a couple thousand followers to now well over 6 million followers across platforms.
Yep.
And so not by chasing viral, by the way, but
a reminder, that's not always a thing.
Right. By making scroll native creative that worked from day one, by being that line cook at Sunday brunch, or like the stylist before the runway. No chaos, just like orders out on time, service, and on brief. And really just also educating too. Like there's this incredible misnomer that younger people are so social media savvy and older folks are not. Like I have to tell you, Tom
That's not a thing.
Silva's like, no, not at all. Tom Silva has a
There's
million
Tom.
followers on TikTok. There he
Yep.
is. Like, and yeah, and then there's some of the younger folks who just like that's not their thing. They don't want to be on TikTok. And Yellow House respects that. Like
Right.
we're meeting everybody where they're at. And so we rebuilt the brief with this client. You know, the brief was vague and it was not
Right. Okay.
what it ended up being. Like we co-authored it, if that makes sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And
Yeah.
and to have a client and a brand willing to do that with you, that's smart. Let's just
Right.
leave it at that.
And it requires trust and like
Yeah.
being willing to be in the trenches and build that trust is what we do. So, you know, being willing to get into the bucket, like that's the big thing that brings you up to the roof. Like
Right.
Brittany, who's the senior social media creator on that account, like does that routinely. Like we're in the trenches as much as we can be.
Right.
With those guys. We don't show up like when it's convenient at 10 a.m. We show up like at 5 a.m. on the day of production, just like the crew. That's the way to do it. So it really is about building that trust because we're in the social media accounts of all of these creators. Like that's an intimate and like vulnerable place to be.
Well, yeah, and it's it can get dicey quick.
Yeah, right. And so you have the umbrella brand, you have sub brands, and then you have all the personal brands of all of the artisans and creators who are part of the cast. So it's actually several clients in one. It's more than 40 social media profiles. And we put out more than 200 original pieces of creative every month for this client. So
all right. So for those of you who would say an indie can't do scale, there you go. And quality, right? Because this is one of those brands that you can't get away with just slapping it together.
That's right. Because the fan base is knowledgeable, savvy, and like a little cultish. Like it's a cult following. Right. A lot of people forget that this is America's most trusted home improvement brand and one of the highest rated home improvement TV shows, as well as the original home improvement reality show. Like there was never a home improvement show before This Old House. So we feel like the gravity and the responsibility of carrying this brand forward and being their voice on social every day. And we ground ourselves in that respect for them and that respect for audience. Like that's why we're not chasing the viral. The viral happens, by the way, it does, but never when you're trying to.
Right.
That's a misunderstanding.
Right.
Viral happens when you happen to just do the thing.
You catch it.
And it catches fire. Yeah, exactly. You can engineer viral to an extent, but this is how we engineered viral, right? By like opening the floodgates and letting these already incredibly talented creators be creative on different platforms and just helping them to learn how to use these platforms. And then if you go to a This Old House film day, really interesting because these are real construction sites, but they're also production sites. Like if you think about the logistics of that, it is mind-boggling. But you will always see somebody holding an iPhone, holding a mobile phone. Like it's as important now as like the old school DP, which we still have, by the way, and like massive respect, like and shout out to Dino, who's the head of he's the DP there, and like he's been with the show since the beginning. Like I just adore that man, and we stand behind him, which is where we should be, but we're always be filming. That's one of our sayings at
ABF. I like a good acronym like that.
There you go.
I would like Jen Nawada to come to the house sometime.
Oh,
because we got a nice backyard, but it's
Yeah, I'm sure she'd love to. You're in Oregon, right? So Yeah, so we're gonna get an Ask This Old House out there.
Ours would be
they do house calls.
ours would be this mildly mid-90s built house.
I love it. Like that's kind of they execute like all this stuff is real. So they just happen. They're artisans who happen to be on TV, right?
Yeah.
They're not TV stars who are like kind of pretending, which is a lot of frankly what you see in the landscape.
So good. Like here's the thing about this. It's like it just brings everything together where it's entertaining, but it's like it's all very real, and the credibility is through the frickin' roof. Like that's the thing with this entire brand, and a reminder that this is a brand. It's not a show. It started as a show, but it's evolved into probably one of the, if not the most credible pieces of, especially for homeowners. It's so credible. It's so credible.
It is, and that's a huge part of what we prioritize. So building those systems that allow the scale to happen in a very vetted way that's brand safe and credibility safe was one of the challenges, frankly, but we didn't rush things into production. We built slow and steady. And it's kind of, there's testing, but really treating creative like customer service in a way, not in a yes man way, more in a let's read the room and nail this type of way.
Yeah, you can tell that we have issues with leaves in our gutters. Therefore, I'm looking at this. All right, I'm going to stop because this is just going to turn it into let's get into Doug's home improvement problems.
Hey, I'll bring Jen. Jen would love to chat with you, actually. But
oh my god! All right, cool.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
I'm sure she would.
Yeah,
we do like her website too. This is the thing. Like once we're in, we're just in.
I love it.
and meshed is another way to.
And meshed is a good word. Yes, I like that. So here's what I'd like to here's what I would like to just get to wrap this up. So a few things. Let's just track. I'm not going to do that thing where I'm going to ask you a 19-part question, even though I have been known to do that. Number one, we'll just do this one by one. I want to go back to that viral piece. When a client comes to an agency and says, we need to be viral, what advice would you give to an agency to, it's not necessarily pushing back on it because you do want things to get heat, but how would you suggest an agency should push back on that in your experience?
Do you want a one-hit wonder or do you want sustainable growth? Mm-hmm. Because you can't have both. You have to choose.
Okay. I like that. That's good and short. Short and sweet. The second one is you've been doing this with the client for 6 years. Mm-hmm. The reality is, as human beings, we will run into days and periods where it's like, okay, I think I'm running out of not ideas, but it's just like, it's been going a while. How do you maintain, number one, the energy, but then secondly, the creative spark? And again, we want this to be advice for other indies to understand how to do that.
Right. So there's a couple of, I would say, soft actions and hard actions that we take to accomplish that. Okay. And I'll start with the hard action. We hire outside agencies to come in and tell us how we can improve.
Oh, cool.
Yep. So that's just a thing that we like, looking inward, really being open to negative feedback and also having this. Okay. And so that's the hard. The soft is always feeling like the client has one foot out the door.
Oh, okay.
And that comes from me, that's me being like, I look at it like this is a privilege, not a right. I never think of it as a retainer. I think of it like, we're fighting for the next month, and the next quarter's business. So it really is that. And I think so that's the soft part. It's not taking it for granted. And then just to add like a third layer, like the reality is you can hit a creative wall. You can have those throw the deck out the window moments, right? But sometimes within that, you can unlock, like that friction is what helps you unlock the best stuff. And the work can get sharper when you start to really have the conversation about why are we hitting this wall, and like talk openly about it, and sort of, and then there's this other thing, right? That social media is an ongoing conversation with your audience. And I love it when brands act human. And that can take the form of, what would you guys like to hear from us more about? What would you like us to get into? Like, let's not be so precious and think that we have all the answers. Let's go to the audience. That's the beauty of social.
Right. Last question. How do you, so for let's say an indie that has a client, let's say that it's all social, and then all of a sudden they ask for that equivalent of what you were saying, which is 200 pieces of high quality stuff per month. How do you navigate that? Because after their jaw drops on the floor.
What that really comes down to is a sense of shared ownership, and not just pitching the work, but co-authoring it with them. So I won't show the work until I've brought them into the thinking. It's not just creative, it's co-creative, co-creation. And if these 200 pieces of content are coming to life visibly and in a manner that is collaborative, the other pieces can fall into place.
Yep. I love it. No more butlers.
No. Well, butlers at scale.
Butlers at scale.
Somewhat. It depends. It depends on the client. But that's the beauty of being boutique and being indie.
Yeah, I love it. Well, Jessica, first of all, thank you so much for supporting this mission. Secondly, love hearing this because it's such a great story, and the beauty of it is it's been a 6-year story and many more years to come. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Todd.